Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Five Lug Racing. My name is Don. With me, as always, my partner in crime, Ryan. Thank you so much for joining me, Ryan. Man, we've been brewing up something special. We've got another guest for you guys to enjoy, and I can't wait to hear this young man's story. It's absolutely inspirational. I'm really excited. Ryan, what do you got for me today, bud?
Hey, Don, thank you. And as always, it's a great pleasure to be here. Hope everybody is enjoying their off season of racing. I know there's been some events on and off here and there, but yeah, we're still grinding away and absolutely have a special guest with us tonight. I'm not going to beat around the bush, but we're going to get right into it. Joining us is the 2024 USAC National Champion, Daison Pursley. Daison, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Welcome to the Five Lug Racing Show.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So, for those who don't know, again, this is your 2024 USAC National Champion. Um, you are 20 years young, Daison, a native of Oklahoma, and you just had a heck of a season. And a little fun fact again for our followers: you are the first driver to win in all three USAC National Series, the midgets, the sprints, and the Silver Crown. What an honor that is! How does that feel?
Yeah, it was. It's cool. Definitely. USAC has a lot of history and everything. So, it was the first driver to do it this year. So it was definitely a cool deal to achieve. I was, been very or able to be very versatile in any of the cars that I've driven this year, and that's just kind of what USAC is about, running three disciplines of racing and stuff. So, was able to. That was kind of one of my goals this year was to achieve that feat, and we were able to do that. So. It was a big deal, and yeah, just very very cool to finally knock that achievement off my list.
Yeah, that's an incredible achievement. I mean, and a humbling answer by you, champ. But that is an incredible feat. And you're a name that's been on the dirt scene for quite some time. You got to start at a very young age, and as you see a lot of the time, in racing, getting your start young really seems to help. You're a TRD development driver, all those things. So why don't you take us back to the beginning, and then we'll wrap into some of the other marquee events, throughout your career, as we get there. But when exactly did you get your start and how?
Yeah, so I started, or I tried, I tried to start racing when I was like six, maybe even five. Just kind of like messed around in my yard and everything with my dad. He bought me a junior sprint and everything, and was just kind of just messing around. Didn't really know if I wanted to do it. Always grew up around it with my dad racing, and then my uncle, of course, and always went to the races, but never really wanted to actually drive until I was like five or six. I don't really remember this, but yeah, this is always like the stories that I guess my mom and dad tell me or I hear all the time. But yeah, was had a little bit of interest to drive when I was five or six. So started messing around in the yard and stuff, and then my dad actually built a little track. Not even little. He built an actual track in the backyard because we live on a couple of acres back in Oklahoma. So built a track, and I started messing around on that a little bit, and then actually started going to a little bit of the play days and practice days around Port City. Um, and then, decided to maybe even try to race or sometimes. So went to the practice days and did that and kept going and like was of course just way off the pace and slow. And then sure enough, I actually got upside down on a practice day one time.
Mm.
And that was kind of the end of that. I went back and said I wanted to play football and basketball and do all the sports. So
So a race car isn't
stopped
like a
racing.
hobby, right?
Yeah, exactly. Race cars kind of got pushed to the side at that point, and went back to playing basketball, football, and all those things like my siblings did. So was that actually the Tulsa Shootout, which were Chili Bulls held just like a week earlier with the micros and stuff, and was walking around the expo center with my dad, and I was probably 10 at this time, and I told him that I wanted to race, and sure enough, we loaded up a car in the back of our pickup truck that he bought that night, and um, took it home that night and showed mom, and it was kind of just a game over from there ever since then.
Oh, that's incredible. Now, you've been racing all forms of dirt. Obviously, really fully committed. I guess you say 10 years old. Um, and I walk through the next couple years. Where you're winning races. You're getting recognition and notoriety. You're on the scene, and people know who you are. And we fast forward. Um, and the reason why this is crucial is to bring awareness, to what you've had to go through. You're living out your dream, and chasing dreams and goals. But in 2021, that all changed. And you're 17 years old at the time. You're in a USAC midget race in Arizona, if I'm understanding correctly. And you were racing for Keith Coons at the time too, right?
Yeah,
Keith.
yeah,
Keith Coons, an amazing name in dirt racing world. Lots of notable drivers have driven for him, including yourself. And I had to watch this a couple times just to, unfortunately, break down what happened and live it so we can talk about it. But you were trying to make a pass on the outside for third position, and you made contact with the backstretch wall and maybe even a little bit of the car underneath you at that time. I don't know if it was just a domino effect or a ping pong type of effect, but it sent your car onto the side. You flipped violently multiple times, then landed on your side, taken to the hospital where it was realized the injuries you sustained were fractures to your C4 and C5 vertebrae
Goodness.
and a severe spinal cord injury. A 9-hour surgery, if I'm not mistaken, from everything I've read and seen, to fuse your broken vertebrae. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but and then you were on ventilation until swelling went down and spiraled. From there, your life was then turned upside down. No pun intended. You went from chasing these to you were diagnosed with incomplete quadriplegic and paralyzed from the neck down. That you know, I get chills talking about it, and yet you're the one who lived it. And for anybody watching this, you know, I've mentioned this before in interviews that we've done or on air things we've done. I never ever want to make light of an accident because yes, it's a spectacle of racing. It's part of it. But this right here, what you lived through is and your story has a really happy ending. Not everybody's may. The dangers of racing are real. What you do, I have the utmost respect for you and your fellow competitors and anybody who straps behind the wheel of the race car for my entertainment. At the end of the day, though, drivers assume a risk when they get behind that wheel. It's well buried in the back of your mind, I'm sure. But I want to live this with you because you're the one who experienced it. If I can start by asking, what do you remember from the actual accident itself?
Um, as far as like that day and like everything, I remember everything. Like I remember, I mean, it's been 4 years now or 3 years now, so it's just like kind of blurry images, like anybody would imagine. So
Hmm.
like I can't tell you what I ate that day or anything like that, but
Sure.
um, it was, I remember, yeah, like kind of everything. And then I remember, racing, we were racing for, I think, fourth, if I remember correctly. So in USAC at that time, it's like for the final transfer spot. So it's like very, very valuable to get your time back and anything. So, yeah, just at a big track where, sometimes a lot of passing really doesn't happen. So it was those, first couple of laps and everything that were the most valuable. And we were just, of course, racing hard. And then happened to be at the most high speed of the track, and the run just came a little bit later and anything like that. So yeah, just didn't really want to wreck in that part of the racetrack, but unfortunately that's what happened. And then once I kind of hit the wall and the car started to look upside down, and like the first hit where I was upside down, that's like when I went lights out. And then I don't remember anything. I would say like a week and a half in the hospital. So like thankfully, like I think that's a good thing. Like thankfully I don't really remember like the really hard times and like the painful times or the surgery or like anything as far as that instinct, the early on days. But then was in the hospital for about 3 weeks. So I probably remember about a week and a half to 2 weeks of it. And yeah, definitely just something that you don't wish upon anybody or anything. It's just something that I'm glad I can come on here and talk about and help anybody out if they unfortunately go through the same thing.
Yeah. And so you say you went lights out, and then you wake up, and I've never experienced something like this, and as scary as that must have been, you wake up probably surrounded by either doctors, nurses, or your family. And when did it how soon into your waking up did you realize your injury was pretty significant, and your life had changed?
Yeah, I mean, pretty instantly, I would say. Like I said, I can't really remember exactly my thoughts since it's been 3 years ago per se. But yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I was worried or nervous or anything. But again, thankfully, I had my mom, I had my dad there with me every step of the way. So um, as far as them kind of understanding and even me, like we understand the risk that we take every time that we jump into those cars. Like it's just something that you have to like live with and be okay with at the end of the day, because it can happen to any one of us no matter the circumstances. So me and mom and dad have always had those kind of talks and anything before this. So yeah, once I kind of came to realization and like understood that this actually happened to me. The worst thing that we could have ever imagined is what happened to me. So yeah, just kind of lived with it from there and just kind of sucked it up and stopped asking why this happened to me, or why, or what if I did this, or what if I did that. I kind of just put this to the side and said, if I'm going to get better, then I'm going to have to put in the work and do everything in my power to get better and continue to get better each and every day. So yeah, just had a whole bunch of support between my parents, my siblings, my family, just everyone. I mean, the whole racing community came together on Facebook, and yeah, just everything. Like when I finally kind of started to get a little bit of movement back, I could go onto Facebook and social media and read everyone's positive thoughts and everything. So yeah, I always say in every interview, a thank you is never enough for the little things that people did for me, that I can't even begin to express how thankful and grateful I am for all these things.
I wanted
Yeah.
to ask, I was curious. So I'm sorry, Ryan. I wanted to ask because I was curious. Are there any lingering effects from the incident? Is it something that you still struggle with in the middle of a race? Is there discomfort that adjusts your driving style? Stuff like that.
No, I mean, there's definitely like still things like physically, like if you were asking me to pick up a quarter off of the ground with my right hand or my left hand, like it definitely messed me up there, like with fine motor stuff is like what they call it. And it's just like your fingertip stuff. But it's like if you just split the right side of my body or just my body in half, and my right side, thankfully, is like my dominant side before the accident. So like I didn't have to relearn to use my dominant hand or anything like that.
Right on.
But definitely my left side is weaker than my right. But as far as when I get into a race car, I mean, I just put it aside. I don't notice absolutely anything. Once the helmet strap's on, I kind of have a different mindset, anyways, that it really don't matter. So,
Absolutely.
um,
It takes a different
yeah.
mindset to strap that helmet on and do it again. Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
nothing, nothing in the race car.
speaking of mindset, you know, obviously yours shifted drastically after this accident, and your mindset was to get better. So you're diagnosed in the hospital with as being incomplete quadriplegic, and I read something that about a week after the incident, you were able to pick up your phone. So when did you realize you were starting to get movement back? And obviously rehabilitation probably started in the hospital for you pretty much right away.
Mhm.
But when did you realize that you know you might have a fighting chance to forget racing for a second? You have a fighting chance to walk again. What was that realization like? And talk us through your rehab program. What all did you have to go through from um, from that hospital to get out of the bed on your own power and all those things. Can you explain that a little bit to us?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the therapist in Arizona kind of started it all off. They're the ones who did really everything right. Like even, I mean, down to the surgeon, down to the people that lifted me out of the race car, like everything. Like it just all fell into place at the right time, the perfect time. Like everything just worked out in something that was the worst thing that happened to me. Everyone that did everything right that they could have done, even at a hard time like that. So, yeah, I started off with like the therapist down in Arizona. They started just doing simple stretches, really, because your body's just sitting there tight. It doesn't move because you can't move it. So, your body's just sitting there getting tighter and tighter each and every day. So, um, yeah, they just kind of start off by stretching you out and making sure you can just like not you move personally, like you can't move your body parts, but they're moving them for you to like loosen it up and like pretty much like putting WD-40 on you. But they
Right.
do that and everything and get you all like loosened up and everything, and then hopefully like the nerve signals kind of start to go to each body part and do all that and do this. But as far as like picking up my phone, like I couldn't really pick up my phone as far as like
Oh,
actually like
okay.
I do now. Like I would it was just something like where it's like laying on my stomach and I can hold it just enough to kind of scroll with my thumb.
Right.
And yes, it was probably very agitating because it would fall down, and I'd get mad and have to like pick it back up. But like long story short, that's kind of like a good thing because like it helped me do therapy without feeling like I was doing therapy. So yeah, I
Right.
just started doing those little things in Arizona, and then they got me up on the edge of the bed. Like I'm not like sure the days and everything, but got me up on the edge of the bed, and then tried to stand up for the first time, and then did, and like didn't really stand up for that amount of long time. And I had to sit back down because I was like dizzy and stuff and everything like that. Um, and then yeah, slowly just started getting me up, getting me out of bed. Finally was able to like do that on my own a couple of times. And then next thing you know, it's like, all right, let's go outside and try to not even outside, go out in the hallway and walk 10 steps. And then that was like a full on workout. Like it just like was just never you would something that like 1,000% take for granted of like waking up in the morning and going to the bathroom. Like I couldn't even do that. So yeah, just looking back at it now, like it's just crazy. But yeah, just those little things that you would have thought were just very, very simple turned into like I was a 1 year old all over again, trying to like learn how to put my sock on, like do all those things. So um, was able to knock out a lot of those things out. And then kind of I was like I said, I was in Arizona for like 3 weeks, and that kind of like took off my therapist and therapy and all that. And then left Arizona and went to Atlanta, um, Shepherd Center for their like rehabilitation. And it's like the best thing that like ever happened. Like, I mean, I think that place is like, I mean, it's just like magical. Like, I don't, I don't know how else to like say it. Like anybody that has a spinal cord or um, anything, brain injury, spinal cord, like anything where they kind of like lose movement in their body parts, like need have to go to that place somehow, some way. Like it just, and they don't even do anything special. They just see that, and it's just so like regular to them that they're just so good at like what they do. Like it's just they're just so good at what they do. So it's just started working out with them and everything like 8 hours a day. Like that was like my full day was like going there and like getting better every day. And then when I first got there, at that time I could walk, I could move my right side. I just couldn't like lift my left shoulder above my head, or I couldn't move my wrist and my fingers at that time. Started doing therapy there and like started to get stronger, and they like started hooking up the electrodes to me and basically like jump in a car. Just started shocking me and stuff on my left side. So um, we did all that for a little bit, and then there was probably one scary time in the rehab of like where usually like it kind of like works down your arms. So you'll have like a shoulder, elbow, wrist, and then your fingers. And then it kind of jumped my wrist at that point, and it didn't really look like my wrist was like ever going to work again because like it kind of like jumped that and went straight to my fingers. So that was like kind of like a scarier time, probably one of the scarier times that I can like actually remember. Um, it's like, oh, like, like we came this far, everything seems to be working great, and then next thing you know, like my wrist wasn't firing at all, and then sure enough, just one day it just started to. So, just yeah, just extremely crazy. But as far as the therapy and rehab and stuff goes, like Shepherd Center is in Atlanta is hands down like the best thing miracle wise that's like I feel like ever happened to this world for quote unquote like spinal cord people.
Yeah, it's truly remarkable, what you went through, the recovery process, but even the advances in modern medicine and the science behind everything that helped to get you back to where you could just be a functional adult, right? But I saw something in the story as part of your rehab. There was a company that brought you a sim rig because you said, I'm going racing again. If I can move, I'm going racing again. So can you enlighten us a little bit about how you incorporated racing into your rehab because and what that actually did for you with maybe it was your hand-eye coordination or getting that wrist working again. What was that like to have a company come in and support you, get you a rig, and really you incorporated sim racing back into your rehab, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was just something just to kind of like pass the time because like it was kind of just like wake up at start therapy at 8 a.m. and then your last like class or therapy session would be at like 4 o'clock, and then you'd end at 5. So we were there all night, and during the time that me and my mom were there, like it was during COVID, so like it was locked down like a hospital. Like I'm talking,
Mm.
couldn't go outside your room, couldn't do anything. So you're trapped in this like 10 by 20 room. Um, so not trapped, but I
Right.
guess I'm just
But I
using
get it.
More or less.
yeah,
Hmm.
you're just kind of just sitting there and everything. So yeah, my dad's really good friends, and I built a really good relationship and just a family friend. Chad Willer owns WR1 Sim Chassis, and it's just a sim rig that I've messed around with as a kid and stuff. So contacted him and was like, hey, like, what's it gonna take if we can just get a sim down here, just to kind of like pass the time and like give hopes and like in the Daison or whatever that looks like. And sure enough, of course, he said yes and everything, and somehow, some way, got me a sim rig, and then we had to like talk to Shepherd Center and everything of like, hey, this isn't like a bomb or like anything that's gonna like hurt anything. Like it's gonna come in here and just like just give Jason like a little bit more hope and everything. So yeah, I was able to jump on iRacing and stuff. So Chad Wheeler, and then he had like a Brian Davis was his name. He came down and like brought it down for us and everything. So just like a really cool thing that I got to do and jump on and stuff. And then I raced a lot before too, especially during COVID in 2020. So like just to jump on iRacing and have fun again and just kind of just like sit there like a little kid and play video games basically was like was cool for my mental state, and the tie racing into it helps a lot too.
Yeah, I'm sure it gives you like that sense of a little piece of normalcy back when you're living a nightmare, so to speak. You get a little sense of humanity back in you. That's awesome. And shout out to them for being able to pull through and get that done for you. Because I mean, that's everybody deserves that, right? If you have that opportunity to try to hold on to a piece of something you love and you didn't fully know that you'd be going racing again, when did you get to the point where you're going to hop back behind the steering wheel? I know that roughly it was a little over a year later, August 2022, right? You returned to racing.
It might even been sooner than that. Maybe 9 months. I think was like what it was when I like tested a micro, or maybe even got my in like first race. Like it was something silly looking back at it, but it was just something that like I mean, even though that I was hurt or anything, like it's just something that like motivated me to get better. Like if of course like the goal started out small, like oh I just wanted to live a quote unquote normal life and be able to like hug my mom and dad or hug my girlfriend, whatever the case may have been. But And then it just turned into like, I'm just going to race again. Like, this is all I ever wanted to do. This is the only thing that's ever crossed my mind to do. This is like what I want to do as a job. Like, this is like my life. Like, I don't know anything else. I mean, I didn't quit school, but like went online school, and like this is like me. This is what I want to do. So, and then of course like all the support, like we already talked about. Like, it's just the racing community is something special, and it was just something that like I just wanted to make everyone like proud or like accomplished with me, and like everyone commenting on my mom's post every single day. Like, it just helped. It just helped a lot. So it was just definitely something that made me more upbeat daily, and made me get out of bed and do all those things. So if it wasn't for racing, then I mean, I don't think I would have even got back to where I am today. It was just something that like I wanted to prove to myself that like I can get in a race car, but then what's the next step? Well, being fast in a race car. So then, yeah, it was just something that I wanted to do, and I feel like I still haven't accomplished it to where I want to be, but I've accomplished it definitely to make me keep checking off those goals for sure.
So
Well, go ahead, Don.
I was going to ask, when you got back in the car for that first test, did you go full Ricky Bobby and everybody was flying by and you were like, how fast are they going? Or did you just stand on it and you were ready to go?
During the test, because I tested the micro first, it was like just like riding a bike, like everyone says. Like, it was definitely not easy by any means, but
Right.
it felt right. Like, as soon as like the second lap, it just kind of like all felt natural and normal, and like
That's awesome.
this is what I want to do. So I better start getting good at it.
Yep. Get after it. Absolutely. Sorry about that, Ryan.
Yeah. No worries at all. I was just going to say that, you know, you, you got back into the car, but by September of 2022, you parked it in victory lane again. Um, can you tell us? I mean, that's got to be a full circle moment. And I don't know. I didn't get to ask the question yet of what one of your biggest moments in your career is, but this has got to be right up there because you go through all those trials and tribulations, being told incomplete quadriplegic, all this rehab. 9 months later, you're back in a race car, which is just diabolical to think about. It's like that's insane. But you did it. That's perseverance. That's whether it's the support of the and it's all of that. It's the support of the community. It's your will. It's your family support. It's the doctors, the nurses, the whole team. It's a team, right? It takes a village, they say. But September of 2022, you get to go race. You're living your dream again, and you park it. What was that moment like for you when you cross the finish line, take the checkers, and after all that, you're back in victory lane?
Yeah, I mean, it felt good, of course, by any means. But it's just, I don't know, like I'm just such like a driven person or anything that it was just like in the moment it felt good, and then looking back at it, it's just like, oh, like you checked off that list, and you just checked off like another achievement of what you wanted to do. So it's just kind of just like, good job, get to work, and we'll try again next time. But no, it was a very special moment for sure. Like, it was great. It was like a relief of, I can do this again, but this is what I need to do. This is how I need to get better, and this is like what I need to work on. It was just kind of like a mixture of all those things. But yeah, looking back at it now, it was definitely a special moment for sure. To like, you got to start somewhere, of course, and we were able to pick up that win fairly quick. So it was a special moment for sure.
You talk about it being a special moment. Which one would be more special in your eyes, or as far as feelings go, emotions? Your first win or the first win after everything?
I don't know. That first win was pretty hard. My first midget win. My
Yeah.
first midget win, I mean, felt like took forever. Like, and I don't know why. Like, it just, I mean, I would do everything right, and then like the last 4 or 5 laps, like just mess up. Like, that first midget win took forever, and then after the accident, like, it just felt like, I've been here before, so like,
Right.
of course was going to be happy, but just like not ecstatic like I was when I finally got that first one. But
Right.
yeah, it just felt like it felt more so in different ways special, but it just felt like, okay, I'm good now. Like I am back. Now let's go do what I once wanted to do, but at a better level.
And was the metaphorical weight, was all that, did that go away? Did it feel, less pressure maybe?
I would say so, yeah. Like just yeah, like more like just relief.
Right.
I finally proved that I can do this again. I want to do this again, and now everyone like kind of just like watch this type of thing that I kind of just had with myself. So I was able
Awesome.
to do that.
It's truly remarkable, Daison. And now we fast forward back to this year. We said in the beginning, first driver to win in all three of the USAC. You are the 2024 USAC champion. So let's relive a little bit of this year. Congratulations. Because again, you just like you said, you're checking boxes, right? And building something special. And there's nothing that anybody can ever take away from you. Your story is remarkable. You put in the work. I mean, before your accident in 2021, you had 7 wins that year prior. So I mean, you were ripping, and proven commodity. Your humble answer to what Don just asked you, though, is just still mind-boggling to me because I'm somebody who's been, I've been through my own health personal struggles, and so I can relate to a degree to some of what you said, but not all of it because I didn't live what you lived. And I just know the impact that it can have on your psyche. And I know the impact that it has on everybody around you, and they try to hold strong for you, and all those things that go into it. So then for you to come out on the back end of things, be able to race again, and then go win a race, you know, that's just, it's touching to me, and it's just the ultimate fight story, my man. And I'm proud of you. Just sitting here listening to it, and knowing the work that that goes into it, and then you're hoisting a championship trophy this year, and it's just insane. But let's relive that championship race. Yeah, what were your nerves going into it? And just knowing that you had to see it through to get to the end of that race, and come out. And I don't think you necessarily needed to win that race, right? To win the championship, you just needed to have a strong showing. You had set yourself up. You had such a dominant year, really, in my opinion. Just really strong year. Can you walk us through going into that race, and then climbing out the car at the end, a champion? Relive that emotion for us.
Yeah, it was huge. Like I just never thought like you could put champion by my name just because I feel like I've tore up a lot of stuff like over the years. Like I'm not really like a quote unquote like points racer. Like I just go out there and race and like whatever happens happens. So yeah, it was just it was cool. Definitely had in the midget stuff. I felt like we had a dominating year, and to me like to even come down to like that close of the points still like just goes to show like Keith and Cannon and them still had like a good year as well too. Since like we had such a great year, I felt like, and they
Mhm.
were still able to be that close in points. I thought was cool for them as well too, and just kind of just cool for like USAC in general that they have this many good guys in their group of people right now. So um, yeah, it was. I mean, it was a terrific year. I mean, we started off with me, signing everything and going to CB Industries for 2024 with Chad Boat and Casey and um, all of their partners and stuff. And we started off at Chili Bowl, and we went to practice day at Chili Bowl and felt really good. And then went to our prelim night and didn't really run good at all. Like we ended up like 14th or something like on our prelim night. Like wasn't any good at all. And then come Saturday, we went to the B to the C to the B to the A, and then ended up finishing fourth. And it was just kind of like, okay, like everything's good. Like we're gonna have a good year. Like we know that we're fast. I know that I'm capable of it again. Like let's go into like 2024 with an open mind. And we started running a little bit of like local Millbridge micro stuff and hidden this micro stuff, and that kind of just like built mine and Chad's relationship of like extremely strong. Like everything, I trust him, and every move that he makes, I tell him like 2 to 3 things that I feel like the car needs, and he goes and like puts it exactly how I want it. Like it's just like the communication and everything is just like extremely well with Chad and I, and it's just it's turned into like a friendship more than it has of just like a boss or he's just a car chief or car owner. So um, yeah, I think that's what finally first started like leading to the championship run, and then once we fired off the midget season, I mean it fired off on all cylinders. Like it was just it was it was almost starting to feel like it's just like a 9 to 5 job, just like really routinish. Like we show up to the racetrack, we drop the door, we do this, we do that, we do this, and then like come midget week time when we didn't miss the podium, it was like a relief, like once again of just like okay, like we're good, I'm good, like everything feels right, everything feels like it's going not exactly like how I planned it, but like it feels good, like everything feels great. And then we went to like Mid America week, and then had 2 wins out of the 4, and then didn't end the week very well. And then once again, Chad and his guys like never put their heads down and everything, kept working and kept working. And yeah, it just got me extremely better. I mean, every time we hit the racetrack, I felt like we got good. And then we went to Eldora, and then I feel like Eldora is probably like my all-time high of my career. I felt like when I went there and got to 4 Crown, and then started off the weekend of winning the midget show, and then going quick time on the Silver Crown stuff and putting it on the pole, and then went to the next night, and then like went second quick in the sprint car, like 6-2 in the heat race, and then went out there and won the midget feature, and then won the non sprint car feature, and then started on the pole, the Silver Crown stuff, and ended up running fourth. Like that was probably like my all time high of my career, just like the emotions and like the running back and forth and just like everything. Like I love Eldora. Like everything about Eldora is just like so cool to me. The high speeds, the adrenaline, the thrill, like everything about Eldora is just so cool to me. So yeah, that was probably one of my all times of my careers. And then went to West Coast and like didn't really have the best couple of first nights just because of like all the rain and like tracks and like just like everything. Like we just didn't fire off exactly like how we appreciated or how we like thought we were. So we kind of felt like we were behind the 8 ball or whatever. But then once again, Chad's guys and me, we just never lost focus on the main goal, and that was the championship. And then we got to Ventura, and the track was like similar to what it has been. The rain kind of got out of there. It was like starting to be slick and normal, and we were fast again. So we just needed to. Once I qualified second and started in the front row, I knew I just needed to kind of keep my nose clean and race and do my job. And then we were able to do that and pick up the championship. So just a special year on the midget stuff with Chad, Casey, Danny, Carlin, Cam, Scotty, Ryan, Connor, like all of those guys. They did a phenomenal job this year, and just really cool to get my first championship and a lot of their first championships as like crew guys and stuff as well too. So just a very fun group to work with, and extremely thankful for everything that kind of like lined up this year. It's been a highlighted year of mine for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it ultimately seemed like the perfect storm for you. Like you said, your Eldora run. I mean, you just flat out were the man out there. I mean, it was insane the amount of speed that you had at that place. Um, had prior to this year, had you run Eldora before?
I have, I think, like a handful of times, like probably maybe 5, 6. I would say 6 times probably. Yeah.
Okay, and was it always that place where you're just like, oh man, I want to win here, like that was a bucket list track of yours to get that win there?
I would say like definitely going into earlier this year, like I wanted to win at like big tracks. Like I wanted to make it known like that I was good at like the bigger tracks. I felt like I was always okay, but I always showed up like not intimidated, but just like not like happy and not even happy to go there, but just not as focused or like, oh, these are my favorite tracks, I'm gonna go there. Like I like all of them, but like the bigger tracks I just didn't seem to have like a very good track record at. So like I made it a goal of mine this year of to like I'm going to win at these 3 tracks, and they were like Lawrenceburg, Terre Haute, and Eldora, and it was just like a point of like I wanted to win at all 3 of those, and like finish second at Lawrenceburg, finish second at Terre Haute, like, and then one at like Eldora. So it was just like a thing that I was just what I was going to do that year, no matter what I had to do. Like I was just going to do it. So yeah, was just able to achieve that feat. And now Eldora, like, I mean, anytime I see it on the schedule, just like, please, more and more and more. Like, it's just fun.
That's it's insane, man. And again, there's that perseverance. There's that yeah, it's almost like Babe Ruth calling a shot, right? You're like, I'm going to go here and I'm going to be successful. You put the work, you put the focus in, and and it's all facets of life for you, my friend. It's just everything's just clicking, and couldn't be happier for you. It's awesome. It's an incredible story. Now, the story's not done yet, though, right? We're opening a new chapter in 2025. And it's been announced already, so I guess we could talk about it. In 2025, you're going full season high limit racing, so 410 wing sprints. What's that feeling like for you? You're going to get to run Eldora again, so and a lot of bigger tracks.
Yeah, congratulations on the opportunity also.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the feeling like heading into 2025 for you?
Yeah, excited. Like, I don't really know what to expect. So like, there's just like really no pressure, no anything. Like, I've had like 20 or less, um, 410 wing starts, and a lot of them just came in the last year. So, yeah, first off, like you guys are saying, very, very thankful and grateful for the opportunity that I've been given to take a chance on a non-wing guy, I guess. But yeah, excited to make the transfer into the wing stuff and see what that's like and everything. And excited to go to some of the new places, but majority of the places that I've been to before. And just gotta put my head down and continue to learn and grow and into the things that I feel like I know are going to be a lot different than what I do know. So excited to see what the big wing brings on top of my head and just go from there and take every race step one by one.
You mentioned the big wing. How big of a difference it is? You said you got about a handful of starts already in it. How big of a difference going from not having it to having it on top of your car like that?
Oh, it's huge. It's especially at like the bigger places like Eldora, Knoxville, and everything. Like, you start following people, and it just like your car just starts acting goofy. So just something that I'm gonna have to understand and get good at, and really put time into like researching and doing a lot of studying on the dirty air and how it affects you and how it helps you and
Yep.
just all that stuff. It's just it's all going to be a learning curve, but nonetheless, I'm ready for it and excited, and I'm excited with the group of people that I'm going to get to go get racing with Sean, Tom, Jerry, with Avani Windows and Doors. Like, it's just a good group of people, and pressure's off. It's just kind of go out there and have fun and see where we lie.
And that's pretty scary with a winning mindset that you already have. If you're just going out there and having fun, man, that's going to be problems for some people out there for sure.
Yeah, indeed. To play off of that, with what Don said, you're running a full season there. So, are you pretty much leaving some of the midget stuff behind at this point and just shifting your primary all the chips in on 410s at this point? Is that the goal?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, first priority is going to be the high limit stuff and whatever, but the USAC schedules, I guess, haven't really came out yet or anything. So I haven't had time to really like sit down and like look at them like close to close if I'm gonna have an off weekend or if I'm not or what that looks like. But non-wing sprint cars, non-wing midgets, like, they're just so much fun to me. Like, I'm gonna be lying if I'm saying I'm gonna stay away from them. So I'm sure that I'll be dabbling in a little bit of everything again. It's too much fun to jump back and forth and to have your win column and a little bit of everything. So hopefully I can do that again. I was very fortunate enough to do it last year. So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, the schedules really haven't fallen out yet with the USAC side of things. So hopefully when they come out this week at PRI, I'll be able to kind of sit down and look at it. But I'm sure that you'll see me around some of the non-wing sprint car and sure enough, some of the midget stuff pit area as well.
Yeah, it never hurts to have the extra seat time. That's for sure.
And I was going to say, you fought hard to get back into those seats. It's going to be hard to take you out of them, especially when you're ripping the way you are right now, man. Coming off of the season that you just had, I'd be wanting to drive everything I could as well. I don't blame you. Now, speaking of driving everything you could and the possibilities and the doors that continue to open for you. And again, your humble approach is fine and dandy, but I'll call it for what it is. You're a force out there, my friend. And, you're a name that is climbing the ranks. You got eyes on you. What's your end game? Where do you see yourself, say 3 years from now or 5 years from now? What, is dirt the career you want for yourself, or, you're fighting to race on Sundays?
Most definitely. I mean, the wing sprint car wing sprint car driver has always been my main goal. That's something that I've always thought. I mean, they're just the best drivers they are. Like, I mean, I think wing sprint car people and drivers and like that everything around them is just great. And I think it's only going in the right direction, like with High Limit and stuff with Kyle Larson, Brad Sweet, and like kind of building like a little competition thing with the World of Outlaws, and then like here comes all the money from sponsorships and like viewers and like all this thing. So like it's only growing, it's only going in the right direction. So
Yep.
for me personally, I think I'm getting in there at the right time. And it's just something about as long as I can make it a career for my longevity and like my body and just everything and make it like realistic. I've had a lot of good people that I've talked to that's already in the industry, and like if they were as young as I would just now getting into it, of what they would have done differently and all that. So just again, like the racing community, helping out racing community is just second to none. So just forever grateful for all the opportunities that I've been given and the people that I've got to talk to, and yeah, just hopefully I can make this wing sprint car career the longest that I've got to driven a car and everything. But yeah, I think it's going to be something that you're going to see me racing forever.
Awesome. And is there any off chance of you coming and racing, or trying it out in the asphalt world? Is that an interest of yours, or is dirt your thing? And that's okay if it is. I mean,
Absolutely.
there are so many drivers who have made it a career and excelled in dirt, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I'm just curious. I mean, because I'd love to see you rip on asphalt too. Uh, Maybe for selfish reasons, but I think you'd be good at it. But yeah, I'm just curious your thoughts.
Yeah, I just I don't know. It's just something that I just haven't like had an extremely like crazy interest in, and like I just have a personality. Like if I don't have like 110% interest or focus or something on that, then like I just might as well not even show up, because I'm not even going to put my all into it. And right now, sprint car racing, dirt racing, like it is 100% all I think about when I sleep, when I eat, when I literally do anything. So it's just it's something that I'm obsessed with, and something that I will continue to build my craft at and continue to get better at, and something that one day I can lay down at night and people will remember me for being really good at what I did. So that's just definitely my end goal for sure.
I
Yeah, and
love
I was gonna say I respect the heck out of that answer, man. Go ahead, Don. Yeah.
Yeah, I love and respect that answer, because
Uh,
what happens is when someone's not fully committed or has their heart fully into something, that could be taking away an opportunity from someone else that would be 100%, 110% giving it their all. And I truly respect that. If sprint's your thing, man, get after it, man. That's a great mindset to have. I love it.
yeah, absolutely. Now, we talk about high limit, right? That's where you're headed. And you mentioned the names of Larson and Brad Sweet. Have you had time to sit down and maybe chat with those guys and pick their brains, and and just obviously you're carving out your career path and what you want, and that's obviously the most important thing. It's what you want, and that obviously you're going there. You think that's a great home for yourself, and have you had the chance to talk to them since you've made that commitment, and how welcoming have they been?
Yeah, they're extremely welcoming. I mean, the whole staff, like as far as everyone with High Limit and Brad and Kyle and everything, like everyone's just great. Like I've had very like little communication with them, because once again, like they're busy too and doing their racing things and everything. But with the PRI show coming up this weekend, like I'm sure that I'll be able to go down and really one on one get to talk with everyone and kind of understand what's going on and everything. So yeah, excited for it. I think it'll be a good home for me, and a good learning thing for me as well to start my career, like you said, and just something that I'm looking forward to for sure.
Yeah, it's insane. And we're fans now, we're supporters, we're in your back corner, man, and we can't thank you enough for coming out here tonight to chat with us and share your story and your journey thus far in racing and in life, and the trials and tribulations you've been through. I know we're cutting it close on time, but we wish you the absolute and utmost best, going forward. Hope you go out there and crush it in 2025. And, you're always welcome back. We hope we can follow up and chat with you some more, as your season goes on, you get some more 410 under your belt in the high limit series. And, we'll circle back maybe this time next year and relive some more fun moments.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. It was a blast.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you.
Really appreciate you hanging out with us, bud. Again, I'm just piggybacking on what Ryan said. Really appreciate it. Love your story. Can't wait to talk to you some more, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yep. Take care. All right. Well, there you have it, Don. We got just a remarkable young man carving out his niche in life and in motorsports. And man, he had to work for it. And it's right when you think everything's going great, life throws you that curveball, and it's how you respond sometimes. And it's not just, in racing, but that's just life in general. I'm sure anybody who's watched this has had their version of a curveball thrown at them, and maybe not to this degree, but just the perseverance that he's shown through it all is just absolutely remarkable. And I wish him the absolute best going forward. This is just, it's a story that could have been more tragic than it was. And it has a happy ending, and I'm so happy for him and his family.
Absolutely. Not everybody gets to write that same story. Not everybody gets to make that comeback the way he did. And it's absolutely incredibly inspirational what he went through and came back from. What an incredible young man. Can't wait to see what his career holds for him moving forward. Another wonderful episode, Ryan. I'm just so thrilled that we get to do this and bring these stories to everybody watching and enjoying with us. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Check out our Instagram, our Facebook, All 5 Lug Racing. Check out all of our content, everything we're putting out. It's a lot of fun. We enjoy doing it. Ryan, I'm so grateful for you and your partnership and your friendship, man. I can't wait to do another.
Likewise.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys for checking us out on 5 Lug Racing. We'll catch you on the next one.